I'm here today standing outside this beautiful, magnificent church. Look at that. Absolutely spectacular, magnificent piece of architecture. But it's about hell and religion, why women are so suppressed. You know, I've studied epigenetics, which is the science of not just our genes, but because we've got the same amount of genes as a potato or a plant, but actually what makes our genes express, turn on the breast cancer. Just because you got the gene doesn't mean you're going to get it, you know. So we are not our genes. So one of the newest sciences is epigenetics, which means we inherit from our ancestors a lot of their traumas and unresolved issues. So one of the unresolved issues, like what they do though, is they're mostly researching men, but women are the real change, you see, because we're not just 50-50 DNA and inherited memory of the mum and the dad. We're actually also the incubator. Just like when they thought they were studying the genes, right, the actual DNA. They missed the fact that it was a message. So they were washing off the spool that they took the DNA off so that they could read the DNA, because men like to measure things, and science was a man's world and still pretty much is, even though there's a lot of female scientists, they're trained by men. So everything has to be measured, but their mere measurement tools mean, for example, a lot of the female studies we read about are actually the results of boy mice that were castrated at birth. Now, this is a fact. This still happens today in 2017, that a lot of tests are actually the female results that you read about, that your medications were tested on, are in actual fact mostly tested on male mice castrated at birth, called then the female subject. Chiming nice and in time. I'm waiting for the church to open because I'm going to burn a candle for the 9 million women that were butchered and slaughtered for having a vagina. Within 300 years, 9 million women were killed, called witches. We're still scared of them today because we actually bought into the bullshit story. And you know, I'm staying at a hotel just down here, down this laneway here, and at the end of the street, just across from my hotel, is the women's weighing station. So they would weigh the women, the priests here from this church here. They would have been from this church, obviously, if it was all to do with religion. Because if women had the power to give birth, then they could be right up there with God, which would mean that, well, that just can't be. So what they would do is weigh them. If they weighed thin and light, that meant that in their eyes, egotistical, patriarchal maniacs called priests, that we must be living on herbs, therefore a healer, a witch, which when you think about it, healing with herbs is what we're going back to, isn't it? So we were just natural healers. Women had the instinctual knowledge for what heals what. But we were deemed witches. Had our heads cut off in front of all of our own generations. I'm not trying to make you angry or scared. I'm trying to educate you, because when you actually know this, you can realise that when you understand epigenetics, that you inherited unresolved traumas from the past. So one of the traumas I would say associated with this was, oh my God, I can't be myself, because if I'm really me and I'm in my body and I'm operating on intuition, I could be deemed a witch, therefore killed, and be taken, you know, who would raise my children and my grandchildren and so on. So very, very interesting that women very long ago, I mean as long back as religious history that we study and that we have to read about, and you know, all of the current history we know that we read about in school books, is doesn't even touch on this, that a woman being born with a vagina meant you could be deemed a witch and killed. 9 million women in 300 years. Think about that. So that's just history, it's just real. It's pre-patriarchal days when we were, the last time we were innately natural females being in our gender. Naturally, I mean. You know, where it was okay to be a woman and we didn't have to try to be a man in a man's world. We didn't have to try to be anything but that which we were, I guess, like a rabbit being a rabbit and a mouse being a mouse and a house being a house. You just be what you are. We women have not had that privilege for thousands of years. So why are we so surprised when we look at epigenetics that we've inherited the need to not be ourselves, or we could be killed? Women live in fear. They do live with such terrible anxiety, 3 times more than men. You're more likely to have depression or anxiety and find yourself sitting on a doctor's chair. If you're a woman, they don't even test hormones, mind you, that which we are, because you can't measure that in a research. You know, you can't document that in a white paper and be famous. So they have to castrate boy mice instead. I keep linking these back together because I want you to get it. I'm hoping you get it, because this is why I created CREATRIX. It's a process that disconnects you from your inherited suppression. I know it sounds corny, but we're just getting crazy results. We're getting women that get their periods back that haven't had period for more than 5 years. We're having women ovulate that could never ovulate. We don't make any claims health-wise, but what I'm saying, it seems to be that we're bringing back the innate capacity that women have when they're fully allowed to be themselves, because we take that suppression out. They don't doubt who they are. They know who they are, and it's a beautiful thing. And we've got to do this. We have to take this to the world. And now I'm not trying to sell you something, because I don't really care whether people believe the power of CREATRIX, because I've got proofs in the pudding. We've done over 1,000 women so far, and we've set them free to be more innately them than they've ever been. So this is because of a lot of my research on this stuff. You've got to understand, epigenetics is real science. There's a university in every capital city of all over the world. But they really, even when the evidence presents itself, they're still testing. They're not understanding the power of the woman, or why they would want to study the incubator. We are passing on the inherited shit through the feed tube into the young. We're not 50-50, mummy and daddy. We're 50 plus the entire incubator that takes the one cell that comes together from the 50-50, divides it into the 10 to 100 trillion cells that know to have the knobby knees or the green eyes like great-grandma 422 generations ago. But also to bring through the traumas. I don't know if you've noticed, but I'm a 3rd generation domestic violence, and you know, my children were 4th generation sexually assaulted as children. Actually, none of us escaped. They say 1 in 3 to 5 women will cop child sexual abuse, but seems to be none of us got away. So interesting, you know, that here I am. I'm going to go in there as soon as it opens, this church. I'm going to light a candle for those 9 million women, and I want to bring not just hope but solution to women all over the world. So I'm just here for the purpose of opening up this country, bringing CREATRIX, the new female psychology that's simple, painless, strips this bullshit out, resets women to feel whole and complete very, very fast and never go back. I'm so proud of the women who have taken the leap of faith to either try CREATRIX or become a facilitator. So look, we need facilitators. We do need to get this out. This is freaking crazy. We need to break these cycles. So if you know anyone that might want to be a facilitator, can you please send them to instituteofwomen.com and get them to book a call, because we need facilitators. We're running out of the Netherlands here now. We're running a big opening launch event next week, but also we run courses out of Australia. We only take on a limited number of facilitators because we really want quality versus quantity at the moment, because it's just such a special privilege to help women release this stuff out of their genes and just see that incredible change. But anyway, I'm going in here to light the candle. I love you and leave you with that. Please don't take this on as a negative message, but just take it on as hope, that there's hope, there's solutions, and that it is the era of the woman rising back, not becoming something she's never been, but regaining herself back in her purest innate way of being that which she really was born to be, and that which she was really created to be. The magnificent creature who is emotion and who produces life inside of ourselves. We can grow a brain inside of our body while running a brain. It's pretty freaking powerful. And so we need to get our natural way back. So here's to women all over the world. # setting women free.